What is up, everybody? Hello, welcome to Torn Tuesday. Why is my camera so low? Let's fix this a little bit. Welcome to Torn Tuesday, your weekly dose of all things Lord of the Rings, and we've got some hot gossip. We got gossip from Amazon. We got gossip about new video games. We got some gossip about Warner Brothers. Things are happening in Middle Earth, and the next few years are going to be incredible. We're streaming as always on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, and everybody's in the chat room saying hi, Jordan. Hey, Jordan Rennells is in the chat room. And why would he be in the chat room today? Why would you be in the chat room today, Mr. Jordan? I want to know. I want to know, like Alanis Morissette. Well, here it is. Tomorrow is the is the release date for the soundscape of Ea, the immersive audio soundscape journey inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion. I believe this is fully independent, not officially sanctioned, but that's where art and artistic expression can happen. You are inspired by Tolkien, as many have come before, and you've created a soundscape that you can listen on your headphones as you read the book that you have in your hands. And that's what these are, the soundscape of Ea. And I think I heard a Clifford Broadway chime in on his opinions.
Hello, this is very exciting. Really. Oh, can you hear my voice? Is that better? This is incredibly exciting. I love Jordan. He's an amazing artist and musician. And my gosh, his ability at technical engineering and making things match up with the books. I mean, all around town, he's just the best. So congratulations, Jordan, on this launch. Congratulations and well earned. This is a very exciting time.
That is the breaking news. We just learned about it yesterday or last minute.
So awesome.
Just right now, not yesterday, just right now. So so you'll be able to pre-order that starting tomorrow. Or you can pre-order today and
cool.
It releases tomorrow.
Cool.
I'm not quite sure. Jordan's in the chat room to answer all of your questions of how to do it. But there it is. So the soundscape of Ea. Am I saying that right, Cliff? Ea with the umlauts?
EA, perhaps. That might be the better way to pronunciate it.
EA, like the video game company that just got sold to the Saudis?
Maybe EA. I've sometimes heard it called EA, but that is the difference between Nevada and Nevada to some people. That makes a big difference. But I would say EA is how most people I've known in my lifetime have pronounced it. So fantastic, Jordan. Well done. This is so exciting. And he says in the chat that you have to have the audiobook. This goes with the audiobook.
Oh, so you play two audio tracks at the same time. You play the music and the book, and you hit play at the same time, and you can listen to them go.
How cool is that? What is that tiny, tiny little Moscow Mule that you have right there? Is this what I think? This
is the opposite of my oversized prancing pony mug. This is this is the opposite. This is my little mug, and it changes color with the temperature of the drink. Cliff, speaking of audio,
that's really cool. It's like a mood ring.
Yes, Cliff. Speaking of audio soundscapes, you've got a huge announcement to make. You should this week.
Yes, I suppose I do have a huge announcement to make. This is complicated, but I'll try to simplify it. One of our wonderful producer director friends, his name is Greg Talley. He's a good friend of the OneRing.net.
Yes, he is.
For ages.
Yes, he is.
He's an excellent fellow,
Founder
but
of the
he's
Dino
been
Hotel. We visited him many times on our live
oh
streams in
yes,
Denver.
we cannot forget to mention the Dino Hotel. But he's in Colorado, and they're calling it. They've got a bunch of actors, actresses, performers, and theater people, and they're in a creative collective over there in Colorado, and they're working with Greg Talley on these amazing radio plays. Radio plays, you say? Hmm. Does that sound like the old timey wimey radio play that, like when Orson Welles did that big hoax on everyone in America thought that the day the Earth stood still or whatever it was? What was it? It was the night when Orson Welles scared all of America into thinking that there was an
Cliff,
alien
you're
invasion,
talking about a
right?
radio play like this? Like this
Yes, like that. The
beautiful
Lord
set?
of the Rings. That's a big radio play.
What
Oh,
what
that's a
what
really specific
what
one.
is
That's
it?
very
This is
cool.
a very specific radio play. What do you mean? What is a radio play? Because look at these cassettes.
Oh my gosh,
Pristine
cassette tapes are so
cassette
cool.
tapes. Aren't these looking
Oh,
cool?
that
They
is
say
fabulous.
episode 4, The
Thank
Ring
you,
Goes
Princess.
South. Episode
I want to say
5.
thank you,
Let's
Princess Toy Nerd and TD Matthew. It was not the day the Earth stood still. It was War of the Worlds. Well, if you think about this company that Greg Talley has started includes so much amazing talent and filmmakers and creatives in Colorado. And instead of Hollywood, they call themselves Collywood. And he is putting together a big radio play. And he's asked me, based upon my Christmas Day readings of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, he asked me to come and be his narrator for this huge radio play that he's doing, and I'm excellent. I'm so excited. He's asking me to participate, and I am. I'm very happy to participate with very talented people. So I'm going to be working with some wonderful people. It's not. It's gosh, it's kind of funny because one of them, he's got two projects for me, and one of them is a spoof of the Lord of the Rings, a kind of a parody of the old time radio shows, um, and also
like these cassettes right here. The
like
Lord of the
those, just
Rings
like those.
cassette tape.
And he's asking me to get involved with his company, and I've joined his little theatrical troupe, and we're going to put on a show. That's what we're going to do, put on a great show, and it's very exciting. He has this funny concocted story
Well,
about
we
a
don't want to
character.
spoil anything. We did. Your big news is that
Oh, I'm
you've
not
joined
spoiling
an audio
anything.
collective doing old
Yes.
timey radio plays. This is
Oh, it's
incredible.
not. It's
Can I
not
buy? Will I
spoiling
be able to
anything.
buy cassette tape versions of these
I
audio
don't
plays? I
know.
think that would be perfect.
That would be fun and wonderful, but I'm not spoiling anything because I was just about to say something that he already posted on Facebook publicly.
Sure.
Um, Imagine that these characters are in the appendix of The Lord of the Rings, and imagine these characters get trapped and they never get out of the appendices. So he's got this real funny story that's cooked up, and it's playing on the idea that some of the characters are in this massive fantasy story, but they're stuck in the appendix and they need to find a way out. And it's going to be really good fun. Really good fun.
That sounds exactly
So I'm
like
excited about that.
McPain and the showrunners of Rings of Power. They're stuck in the appendices, and they got they got to
It
get
doesn't
out.
sound like that at all. No, that doesn't sound like that at all. It
Uh,
was so hilarious.
Cliff,
Okay, so
other big
yeah,
news.
he was very
This
funny.
came down the big rumor mill.
Oh God, show me that.
Check this out. Check this out, Cliff. This came out of nowhere. I was
Show me.
not expecting
What is
this.
this?
But Insider Gaming, a website I've never heard of, by the way. So it's just, Green Dragon gossip. I don't know
Insider
whether these
Gaming?
guys are legit or not. I've never heard of them. But InsiderGaming.com says there's a new Lord of the Rings game in development. Sources close to the game tell Insider Gaming that a new title is set to be at least partially funded by the Abu Dhabi Investment Office of $100 million. $100 million budget
Yeah,
for a video game.
that was actually forwarded to me on Instagram, and I forwarded it to theonering.net. It came from one of those amazing Tolkien content creators in another country. Let me see if I can remember where they're from. I wasn't sure if it was from um, the former Yugoslavian states. Might be from there, Romanian
I guess it
area.
doesn't matter where it comes from. The fact is that the Abu Dhabi Investment Fund is giving $100 million for a new Lord of the Rings game, supposedly in the works
Oh
since
my gosh.
last year.
Yes. Yes,
And
they've been working on that.
it is a third-person action game meant to compete with Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes, they said the game was designed in the manner of the very successful Hogwarts Legacy game format. So, Now, TD Matthew is asking, how much is $100 million in video game design money? Is that a lot? Is that a typical amount for
That
game
is
design, Justin?
that is the typical amount for that is the
That's a
typical
good
amount
question.
for
That's a good question.
AAA games. I would say.
Right, for a AAA level game. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see when the official press release comes out from the Embracer Group, or our friends at Middle Earth Enterprises. Let's see when they, make that rumor real. But it is intriguing, isn't it? Really
Yeah,
intriguing.
that's a good question. Revenge Games, who say that who this report says is working on this, did The Last of Us Part 2, Dishonored, had some work on Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor. Oh no, these are all revenge games, like the like story. I
Oh,
don't
not the name of the company. Oh,
not the name of the
Jordan in the chat says, for reference, Ghost of Yotai's budget was $60 million.
Well, let's look
Hmm.
up Hogwarts
Legacy.
Legacy
Let's see how much they
budget.
spent on that.
150 million.
Oh my gosh, that's a
S-
lot of money for developing a huge
So
console game.
150
That's a
million
lot of
for
money.
Hogwarts Legacy. So it says that this game is at minimum budgeted at 100 million, give or take. So this is right in line um, with the budget of the game. Now, when contacted for statement, Embracer says a general rule would not comment on rumors or speculation.
Mm.
So that's the rumor that a new Lord of the Rings game with $100 million budget that's supposed to play like Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay, I'm down for that. That sounds really
And
cool.
Hogwarts Legacy was a really great game. Unfortunately, got caught up in the J.K. Rowling political sphere, and
You
that's too
mean you mean the
bad.
huge you mean the huge and
No, I don't
appropriate
mean
cultural
anything else
backlash?
other than the political drama of
That was all her
social
fault. That
media.
wasn't
That's
political drama. That was
the
all her fault. That
yes,
was
but it
all
got
her fault.
but the game Hogwarts Legacy got caught up in the
Yeah, all of
unfortunate
it did.
negativity
All of it did.
of that, and so a
And
lot
so
of
did the
people
last
that would have
two.
loved the game would have really loved the game, but they decided to boycott Hogwarts Legacy for obvious reasons, and it's a valid reason. But so Hogwarts Legacy is a great
Yeah,
game. It's a great game to
yeah.
copy. So the question I have for you, Cliff,
Well,
what do you know? Since you don't know much about Hogwarts Legacy other than it's
no, I've
just
never played it.
okay. So
I've seen people enjoy it.
you're basically a student at Hogwarts post years of Harry Potter. So you're just
Hmm.
living a student's life at Hogwarts. That's the adventure,
Indeed.
and it's
Yes.
an MMO. So hundreds and thousands of gamers are also students flying around on their broomsticks and stuff like that. So the question I have for you, Cliff, is what would make a good MMO, online RPG type game in Lord of the Rings? What era or area would be a good, and that would have enough to do, basically? Because I don't know, living in the Shire, a Shire MMO doesn't seem that interesting to me.
Well, we already have that. We already have that game.
Yeah, it
Living in
just
the
came out.
Shire.
Well,
Yeah, Tales of the Shire,
Tales of the Shire,
which
but
is
it's not
super
an
fun.
MMO. You cannot visit each other's homes. So the question is, what do you think an action fantasy game in the Lord of the Rings world would take place?
I would combine both Eriador and Rovanien so that you have both the west side of the Misty Mountains and Wilderland over to the east of the Misty Mountains. So I would include all of them. But why stop there? Why not just have all of it? Why not have all of it available?
Because the whole point of Hogwarts Legacy is that the entire thing takes place at Hogwarts. Like Hogwarts is deep enough and rich enough, and there's enough,
Right.
Dementors and everything else attacking. Like there's things to do. There you can play Quidditch, you can play all this stuff.
You have the nearby village of Hogsmeade. You have the Forbidden Forest nearby. You have the
But
mountains nearby.
it's
You have
all
so
nearby.
many
That's what I'm.
other
That's what I'm
geographic
saying.
areas
So if you
to
limit the
change the
game,
environment. As I was saying, you have so many amazing geographic areas to visit, all within the exact same place. So, in order for them to recreate something like that, I say everything east and west of the Misty Mountains, and that includes Rivendell, Mirkwood, the Lonely Mountain, the Shire. It includes visiting dwarves and the Iron Hills. It includes
you're
going down
missing
to
it.
Dol Guldur. All
You're
of it.
missing what is one location that makes sense that you could spend a whole game just living and adventuring and doing things in? Is it Gondor, the
can't-
White City?
Maybe not,
There's
but I
not
can't.
enough to do in Rohan.
Honestly, Justin, let's think about this for a minute. I cannot imagine them making a Middle Earth game that is limited to one single geographic city or one area that's so small. How
Chat
could they
room.
do that?
Chat room, come on, you guys got to have a bigger imagination than Cliff here. Like,
Oh,
come
sure.
on,
But how could you create a Middle Earth video game
Dark
and not let
Angmar.
people wander around?
Angmar. Imagine going
Well-
to Angmar and the entire game is based on Angmar, and you are an up and coming Black Rider. I don't know that
What's
that
up
you gotta
there
wait,
in
work
Angmar?
your way up. Would
What
you
what
want
is
a
up
game
there?
where you are the bad guy? You are on the side of Sauron, and you got to work your way up to general?
Oh, didn't they do that already in one of those video games?
No, the Nemesis system was the AI bad guys.
The Nemesis
level
system
up.
was, yeah, that's right.
But I don't think there's been the Lord of the Rings game where you actually are on the side of Sauron.
Well, the great success of Middle Earth Online, which is a massively multiplayer online platform game, LOTRO, as people are talking about it in the live chat, that success of that game is because they've expanded and expanded to so many different areas.
Yeah, because it's been
So-
around for 20 years. So if we
Yeah.
did a Hogwarts Legacy game that it's all based in one location,
You mean one
What?
city, one place,
one
like
place.
Bree, for example.
That's what I've
Or-
been trying to say. One place, one location. What has the most to do?
I don't know. Honestly, I do not know
Interesting.
because I think it'd be cheating the experience away from the gamers. The audience of gamers want to explore all around the map and go to all these different places. So why Middle Earth is such a different comparison than Hogwarts? You see, Justin, that's why your question is so difficult to directly answer down into one single specific city or a town, because there's so many places where the people are different and the languages are different and the exposure to danger is different. You're going to be hitting a lot more dangerous areas as you go down towards Wilderland and into Mirkwood and of course down into Mordor than you would if you were just hanging around in Bree. You see what I mean? So the whole concept of your question is like, are they ever going to do that? Are they ever going to make a Lord of the Rings video game where you're stuck in Minas Tirith for the whole game? Why would that
That
happen?
would be I don't know. That's why I'm asking
would that
you,
happen?
is there enough to do in Minas Tirith to prepare
No.
for the oncoming
No.
battle?
No. I
Dude,
mean, what?
there is a lot you could do with just being
What?
a soldier in Minas Tirith.
Oh,
and-
you could just do training exercises with other soldiers. You could
You
visit
build
the underground
catapults. You could
library.
prepare for
You know,
yeah.
Where Gandalf went to go find
Yeah, there
scrolls
might be
in the
magic in
library.
there. Yeah, the library's in there. There's so many things you could do in
I don't
Minas
even
Tirith.
know.
Like
Oh my
Gandalf
gosh.
can arrive in Minas Tirith and not know where to go, and you have to help him find his way to the library. That's interesting.
Okay, but after you've done that for a few weeks, where else are you going to go
You have
in
to
the
use the
game?
Marauder's map to find a hidden dungeon that gets into Denethor's place because Gandalf needs to get there. I don't know. There's a lot to do. Anyway, $100 million video game. Embracer officially says no comment. We don't speculate on rumors. I've never heard of this website. And the editor's name is Mike Straw. So I don't know if this guy's just making stuff up, straw
Is
man
that
style.
a straw man argument? Haha,
Yeah.
funny.
So,
Who knows? All
all right,
right,
we've got
Zap Verisepa has the winning answer. There's the rat catcher in Minas Tirith. What a great job. I want to be that guy who's the rat catcher in Minas Tirith, just like the ones in Game of Thrones. That's
By the
really
way,
funny.
if
That's
anyone,
very funny.
if
Or House of
anyone is
Dragons,
listening
rather.
in the gaming
Rather.
industry, the game that I really want, and I'm not even joking, I want Stray, the cat game, but
Oh, I
it's
love that. I want to
but
play that
it's
too.
it's Cats of Middle Earth, Cats of Minas
Really?
Tirith. I just want to play as a cat in Minas Tirith. I don't know what or who or I don't know when,
That's not a
but
bad idea.
a cat in Minas Tirith using the same game engine as the game Stray. And if you've never heard of it, look it up on YouTube. Stray, the cat game.
I'd be down.
It's
I would
incredible.
so be down for that. I would. Last one says, I'm with Cliff. I think a lot of people would want to explore wider Middle Earth, which I think would be the natural appeal of designing a game within that fantasy world. Literally, that's what I think too. But
And
yeah.
I'm still waiting for Rings of Power to deliver on that promise of telling stories of the expanded area of Middle Earth. Rings of Power, step up. Hey Cliff, we got to move on because there's so much other news.
Oh, let's hit the news.
We told you last week that Amazon is losing their final or the last vestige of the old Rings of Power Tolkien deal. Vernon Sanders is leaving after Jennifer
What?
Salke and everybody else. Well, they've
Yes.
found their new studio
That's
head
right.
at Amazon
We talked
MGM
about that.
Studios. He's going to be overseeing Rings of Power. This is why we're telling you. This is the new head of Amazon Prime Studios who's
Yeah.
going to be overseeing Rings of Power. This is the guy that's going to make decisions for season 4 and 5 and whatever spin-offs and anything
That's
else and the fate of whatever. So Peter Friedlander is the new boss at for Rings of Power. He came from Netflix, where he oversaw Wednesday, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, and Black Mirror. So Netflix's biggest shows: Black Mirror, Stranger Things. Stranger Things is their biggest show. Let's be honest. You know, Wednesday, which I'm loving. I love this new season.
Yeah, that
So
and Squid Game is their biggest shows. Yes.
yeah. So that is the new
Yes.
head. He's got a great reputation of being just a nice guy that understands creative vision. So we'll see what happens. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what we need to be prepared for: some news on Rings of Power, whether or not it's coming or not. There's a new boss in town at Amazon, and you know he's going to be reviewing the footage and the edits of Rings of Power Season 3. This is
That's
the
right.
guy.
He is. We did talk about that.
This is the guy now who will be reviewing all the episodes of Season 3 and determining whether they're good enough for air or do they need to do reshoots.
Okay. Wow.
This is the new boss.
This is his job.
This is
Yep.
his new
And
job.
Anonymous girl asking, why are they doing so many replacements? Well, that's just the corporate shuffle, as we called it last week.
That's right.
That's how they do things. That's how they do things.
Yeah. So I'm
But-
a big fan of this guy's the content that this guy has put together, and
yeah, absolutely.
I can only expect great things, because Stranger Things
do you really
gets better
anticipate-
every season.
Oh, it does. That's very true. Stranger Things and their hit Broadway play, which was a huge hit in London as well.
That's
Huge
true.
hit show.
Huge hit.
Um, Fascinating. I saw the documentary about the making of the stage play, and I was so blown away. It's just totally, totally cool. But what do you think is the likelihood that this new executive person is going to come in and say, dun, 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 we need to change things. Let's do some reshoots. Let's do some
I
rewrites.
I
Do you
I,
think it's, do you
I
think that's
say
likely?
I say it's highly likely, 90% likely that he's going to be reviewing the footage from season 3 and
Yeah.
determining
Okay.
if it's good enough for air.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's just
That's
as
it.
likely as anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
I
know that
agree.
they're doing
Yeah.
we know that they're shooting until November. So there's plenty of time. Um, Cliff, Amazon posted this video. Did you see this video, Cliff?
No, I haven't seen that.
What's the arm, dude?
Hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Watch and learn, baby.
What's the arm, dude?
What do you think, Cliff? That is the
Wow.
latest sneak peek. And that's the latest
I
sneak peek.
love Ismael Cruz Cordova. He can do no wrong. He's awesome. He's just awesome.
But Cliff, the gossip, the Green Dragon gossip is Ismail has wrapped all of his shooting already for season 3.
Really?
He is
Oh, wow.
done
Okay.
early, and the rumors are he has a reduced screen time role compared to the first 2 seasons. So he's
Oh,
got
really?
less to do this season. That's the rumor.
Less to do this season. Okay.
Mm.
That's an interesting rumor. He's such a great character. But yeah, let him cook. Let him come back on screen more often.
He's
What are you
look,
guys doing?
he is one of the best things. He's one of the best things
Oh,
about
yes,
Rings of
he is.
Power, both
He is.
seasons. And yeah, honestly, he should be the main character of the show. We should be watching the entire story unfold through his eyes. And
Yeah.
I don't know why they've sidelined him so badly.
If the rumor is true, we'll see if that pans
Well,
out.
he was
But
sidelined for season 2. He had like 1/3 of the screen time in season 2 that he did in season 1.
he had a big funeral to attend. That was, and then he had an encounter with the Ents.
And that
the
was it.
Entwife.
And then he died.
And that was
then he
it.
undied.
Yeah, another red herring.
Yeah. Cliff, I want to bring your attention to a place in England called Hankley
Is that
Common.
where they're building the theme park
Hankley
for
Common
Universal?
has a golf course, a big 18-hole golf club. You can see Frensham County Park. Frensham Little Pond is where they filmed a bunch of stuff for season 2. I remember reporting on Frensham Little Pond.
Yeah.
Was it season 2 or season 3? I forget. But there was filming in Frensham Pond. And now, as of this week, filming for season 3 is at Hankley Common, which is a big forest area. You can see right here, a forest area surrounded by like emptiness. Skyfall Lodge set. You can see, I believe this is this is an area where you can film that feels desolate. There's a golf course to the north.
Skyfall Lodge? Is that something to do with the James Bond movie?
Probably. I don't know. There's no pictures. So, why am I showing you Hankley Common? Because our spies today in our Discord, and I tell you every week, join our Discord. Our spies today have said that they are filming the Hankley Common. This is a photo from today. Hankley Common. You can see how desolate it is. Cliff, where would you guess Hankley Common is filling in as? What part of Middle Earth does this look like?
I don't really know. That's And do you know what? That could be uh maybe somewhere right outside the boundaries of Mordor, maybe like a desolate field outside of Mordor, maybe. Maybe they'll add fake mountains in the background. But this also looks like it could be um oh, do you know what this looks like it could be? The Brown Lands, where the Entwives had made their gardens and then they disappeared. Maybe that's where the Entwives disappeared.
That
Hmm.
is interesting, Cliff. What'd you
Well,
call it? The Brown Lands?
yeah, it's called the Brown Lands, but that would be maybe jumping the timeline because first of all, we know
Well,
the
we don't care about timelines here. It's Rings of Power we're
well,
talking about.
hold on. They said they're moving forward in time in season 3, but we speculated it wouldn't be that much, maybe 15 or 16, 17 years, maybe. But in between the time that we saw the Entwives and Ismael Cruz Cordova saw the Entwives, um,
What about the
did
plains of
they get
Gorgoroth?
lost? And did all of, well, that would be a volcanic ash field covered with dead everything in volcanic ash because we saw the plateau of Gorgoroth uh, wiped out in season 1, didn't we?
Okay. Well, according to Redanian intelligence,
Right?
brief video of today's filming at Hankley Common. Let's take a look.
Yeah. Oh, they are filming.
I mean, this is where that $1 billion budget comes in. I mean, look how many cranes. I'm counting 6 cranes already in this shot. Are they showing us anything else? Are they
Wow,
zooming
that's
in?
weird.
Computer enhance. Someone needs a longer zoom lens.
What does Harrison Ford say in Blade Runner? Enhance
All right. According to
4J17
Redanian intelligence, several
or something.
onlookers who have been to Hankley Common in Surrey over the past week have noticed a film set being installed. The set depicts ruins of a burned village standing among charred land. Cliff, what does that sound like?
Oh, maybe that is within Mordor in the old area that was the villagers' area for the Southlands, what they had called the Southlands. Maybe we're going to go back to the old Southlands and check out some of their destroyed village buildings. I don't know.
Oh yeah, look at that huge lighting grid. They're definitely gonna. And there's a guy on horseback right there on the right.
Whoa.
Oh,
Okay.
look at the look.
Okay.
Man, we got the goods here.
Oh.
Look at these charred lands, Cliff. What?
Oh, well,
What?
this is clearly going back to where we were at the end of season 1.
So this is
This
more
is going
straight
back to
Mordor.
Well, let's assume that. Let's assume that it's Mordor now. But
Are those
back
kitty
then, this
cats?
was
Oh no, those are little
village
puppies. Look at
of
those
the
little
Southlands.
puppies. Right in the frame there. A white and a black
Right.
puppy. Little.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, so yeah, they are definitely filming in more. And here's what Redanian intelligence says: Rings of Power season 2 Mordor set spotted in the UK. So I think they're
Oh, so
speculating.
they've already arrived at the same conclusion that we are speculating.
Yep.
By the way,
People.
I know you guys are happy to see the doggies there, but I have a kitty cat off screen. He's about 2 feet away. I can get him to come over here. Come here, Myth.
Oh, you know what? Never
here,
mind,
Myth.
Cliff. Never mind, Cliff.
Here, kitty.
I just saw the
What does it
date
say?
on this.
Tell me.
It's October
Uh-oh.
22.
What's the date on this?
October 2022.
Oh gosh, that's years old. That's years old.
Hey,
Okay, so
well,
we're not
now,
going back to
now,
the season
I'm
1.
curious,
Okay.
Cliff. What part of season 2 was this in? Cliff?
Well, that would be anything they showed where they were leaving the Southlands, and Queen Tarmiriel was
No,
blind and
in season 2?
Yeah. Oh no, by that time that was all end of season 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, where was this in season 2?
None of it. This is all season 1 after the explosion of Oro's ruin.
Well, they filmed this during 2022 in season 2, Cliff. Where was this in season 2?
I don't remember seeing any of that in season 2.
Wait, hold on. Let me get my years straight. No, 2022. If they were filming in 2022, October 2022, that was for season 2. Definitely not season 1. Yeah, way to get our hopes up.
No.
You know what? We're moving on. Sorry, I totally just nope, thanks. All right. Let's take a
Okay,
look at the
You
the
know
la-
what? Timing
latest
is everything,
scoops.
my friend. Timing is everything.
Let's take a look at the latest scoops. ILM posted some behind the scenes artwork of the bats that Disa controls. This is incredibly detailed artwork, and I wish there was more a
Disa
screen
controls
footage.
them?
I wish they had shown Disa becoming friends with the bats. Like I wish we had seen more with Disa and the bats before she saved the day at the end of the season. I don't know. All right, Cliff. Well, the big news this weekend is a Fellowship of Fans is reporting that Jamie Campbell Bower has mainly shared scenes with Morpeth Clark so far. And their other big scoop is Círdan the Shipwright becomes a major character in Rings of Power Season 3. Your thoughts, Cliff?
Good. They underused Círdan entirely. So yes, we should have Círdan as a major player. That sounds great to me. I love it. That's an excellent thing.
What, in your opinion, what should Círdan be doing in this major role?
Well, what's interesting is we never learned very much about how he used his ring, his elven ring. The most major part of the story we've learned about him was that he gave it away. And everybody talks about Círdan within that light. Oh, he had a ring of power. He had Narya, the ring of fire, and he gave it to Gandalf. So now here's a chance in the story for us to learn something about him using the ring of fire.
Does he use the ring in the
I think
Battle
that's
of Elves and Sauron?
Don't know. That's not mentioned in the books at all.
Would you be okay if
that's-
he used his ring as an offensive
Sure.
weapon?
Well, look, he's going to be using it for several seasons. The point being is that Grand Elf is already here. He hasn't been given the ring. So
And he
Círdan
doesn't
has it. So
deserve
he
it.
should be using it. Círdan should be using it.
All right.
Don't you think?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one that read the books.
Yes. Which I invite you to do any day you want.
Do
sir.
you
I
think
invite you
that
to read the books.
season 3 should include Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire on the soundtrack?
No, that's not a concept I would ever have thought of. No.
Would you be
That's-
okay
You
with
guys are funny though.
Bad Religion's cover of Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire?
No, I don't have any notion of that.
Okay.
Because the song that Mr. Cash wrote has nothing to do with Rings of Power or the events in the Second Age. So I don't get how there could be some causal connection.
All right. Well, all right. So we're
everybody in
okay
the
with
chat
this.
is against me. I know everybody in the chat would love to have this Johnny Cash song, but I don't get it. I don't get the connection.
Wow. All right. We're just simple men in a simple world. Cliff, people on Twitter are
Yes.
saying they read the article from Fellowship of Fans, and according to the article, the Fellowship of Fans is saying that Celeborn would have to have a narrative similar to Glorfindel's to appear. So the question is, do you think JCB, Jamie Campbell Bower, is Celeborn or Glorfindel? And would you be disappointed if McPain combined those two characters?
Yes, I would be disappointed if they combine them. There's no sense in that.
Which would you prefer show up on screen at this point in this show, Glorfindel or Celeborn?
Celeborn, you know where I stand on that.
Okay.
So, what is this statement saying? The fact that they said, I don't know who they is, the fact that they said that
Fellowship of Fans says that Celeborn would have to have a narrative similar to Glorfindel's.
I don't get that. I don't get that. Why
Okay.
would Celeborn have to have a storyline similar to Glorfindel? Why couldn't Celeborn just have his own storyline that Tolkien wrote about and have it connected to Galadriel? And remember the artifice, the conceit. The writers and showrunners have put a conceit into the baking mix. So all the ingredients are in the mix for Celeborn to be there, but he's been artificially kept off stage when he was never assumed dead. He was never assumed missing.
He was assumed dead and missing in the show.
That's what I said. In the show, in the books, none of this is true.
Right.
So they have the conceit of the show, and they have to follow through with that. So they have to follow through with that and figure out what they're going to do with Celeborn.
I would prefer that Celeborn stay dead and Jamie Campbell Bower is Glorfindel.
Yeah, we know what you think.
But
Katie in the chat says it's saying the way Glorfindel comes back to Middle Earth after being rehoused is the best way to introduce him. Oh, so you're saying that since Glorfindel came back resurrected after he had been to the halls of Mandos and he was resurrected as Glorfindel again, second time around, let's call him Glorfindel 2.0. You're saying that Celeborn would be brought back as, oh, well, I was dead, but now I'm brought back like Glorfindel was brought back.
Yeah.
That would be bizarre. It's an interesting idea,
right?
but
it's bizarre. But we can't put anything past McPain at this point because they had Elrond kiss his mother. Magic Con was this weekend.
Mother-in-law.
Charles Edwards Celebrimbor and Sam Hazeldine at Adar were doing photo ops with fans, and they had such a great time. Look at this. That is Celebrimbor and Sam Hazeldine Adar. But Cliff, I want to point out this video. Check this out.
Celeborn, what's wrong with him? Celeborn, what's wrong with him?
Who is your least favorite Tolkien character? Adar, Sam Hazeldine says Celeborn. And Charles Edwards, who played Celebrimbor. No, it's Celeborn. And Charles Edwards responds at Celeborn. What's wrong with that? Let's hear it again.
Celeborn, what's wrong with him?
So
he said Celeborn?
Yeah. So why would Adar, Cliff, why would Celebrimbor and Adar's actor both have issues with Celeborn? And the fans are picking up on it. The cast is anti-Celeborn. I love it so much. Cliff, I know you just said where you stand on Celeborn. Everyone knows where I stand on Celeborn. He needs to stay dead. It sounds like the cast of the show is sick of Celeborn as well. Your thoughts on this interaction?
This seems really interesting that they're talking about Celeborn. So maybe we can do away with the speculation that Jamie Campbell Bower is going to be anybody else. Now, so we can see them cracking jokes about Celeborn. That means that all the other speculation that JCB would play any other character, that's all blown out the window, and it probably confirms everything that I've said for a long time. Jamie Campbell Bower is Celeborn, and why they don't like him, I don't know. Maybe it's because they don't like working with Jamie Campbell Bower, and it has nothing to do with the character. I don't know if that's true. I am not going to speculate on that.
Here's an extra thing that happened, Cliff, because just a few hours after Fellowship of Fans released this leak that he has mainly shared scenes with Morpeth Clark, and just a couple hours after Charles Edwards and Sam Hazeldine talked about Celeborn being their least favorite character, Jamie Campbell Bower himself tweets for the first time a quote from the show, "One cannot know the light without having touched the darkness." Cliff,
Wow, he's quoting Galadriel's brother who died. Wow. Okay, that's intriguing.
so where
I
do
also
where
wanna
do you think
dial-
where do you think this fits in? Why would Jamie tweet this after the Fellowship of Fans scoop and the Charles Edwards viral video?
I don't know. I don't know why he would tweet this. I have no idea. But Katie in the chat says it explains where Celeborn was if he were treated like Glorfindel and if he were dead and then resurrected. Going back to that, it explains where he was, but also conveys the nature of the elves. I don't want it to happen that way, but that might be it. That might be how it's happening.
What do you
Very
mean?
intriguing.
Talk
Well-
to me. Explain yourself.
If Glorfindel is the most famous elf who actually died and then went to the halls of Mandos and then came back to life and was resurrected, then if they give that treatment to Celeborn, then maybe you are going to get what other people have said, that there will be a hybrid of both characters. Maybe you'll
And
get
you
what you're
said
asking
at the
for,
top of
Justin.
the you said at the top show you hate that idea.
I don't care for it because they're distinct characters who have really, but if it's a TV show and they're going to do what they want to do, and as we know, as we have seen for the past 2 seasons, they are their own creature. They are their own thing. And they're having a party over there. It's the big Rings of Power party. And I'm sure I'm not invited. But they're having a great time and they're doing their own thing. And we just have to accept that on their terms, mostly. Unless you feel like making out with your mother-in-law. But I don't think that it benefits too much to have Glorfindel refused again and again and again. After every movie, after every trilogy, after every animated film, it's always Glorfindel who gets pushed out to the margins and is never recreated in any
Peter
adaptation.
Jackson combined
It's always
Glorfindel into Arwen's character. Everything Arwen
And
does.
Yes, and Ralph Bakshi made Glorfindel into Legolas. It was Legolas who showed up, or should I say, it was Anthony Daniels as C-3PO who showed up.
Let me ask you this: does McPain earn bonus points if they do the same thing that Bakshi and Jackson did, which is combine Glorfindel into someone else? Or would you give them a little more brownie points if they actually use Glorfindel?
If they
What's
use
more
Glorfindel,
important to fans?
well, they'd have to create a whole story. They've never mentioned him so far. They've never mentioned who this great elf lord was from the first
They've
age.
never mentioned.
it.
They've mentioned Celeborn in passing in once, saying he's dead. So Celeborn has had
saying that he's
presumed.
Saying that he's presumed.
We're not going to get in that
dead.
debate again. The
Well,
show
watch season
speaks
1
for
again.
itself. The show speaks for itself. She thinks he's dead. So, do
Okay,
you?
I'm gonna go.
Does McPain get more brownie points if they include Glorfindel or if they replace him again?
No, they would get major brownie points if they did bring to life all the characters that have been ignored. And that means Glorfindel. That means the Blue Wizards. That means so many characters that have been ignored and never put into any adaptation. That includes all of the above. Yeah, they would get much better brownie points if they legitimately said, this is the resurrected Glorfindel, and then talked about why. And maybe put that into contrast into the way the men of Numenor are behaving, getting all pissed off and upset that they don't get to be immortal and only the elves get to be that. So that'd be totally cool. Maybe the Glorfindel storyline, treated appropriately, could bring us right around to the issues with the Numenorian people who are getting so upset that the fate of man being mortal is not the same as the fate of elves. So that feeds the conflict of where the Numenorian storyline could really go. But then again, Celeborn, in my opinion, should have been on stage in the show years ago, since season one. And yeah, I've always said that.
I disagree. I love the idea of young Galadriel dating and doing their thing. All right. Well, that's
Oh,
our ring.
stop. That is silly. You know that's silly. It's always been silly. Very silly.
Before we let everybody go, we got a couple other news. Peter Mulan, who was King Durin up until a few months ago. Peter Mulan from
Ooh.
Westworld and from Rings of Power, who played Durin. He is joining The Witcher on Netflix.
Oh, hey. Well, he's no longer going to be in the Rings of Power, so he needs another job. So that's good. I'm glad he got another big job on The
Yeah,
Witcher.
so he's moving on
That's
to
cool.
another great fantasy show, The Witcher, which sounds more and more interesting now that they've got Liam Hemsworth taking over. It sounds very, very, very interesting. Another thing, our old pal Todd Spence posted this video. Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, recently passed. Was such a big fan of Lord of the Rings, he filmed himself as Gandalf.
It's me, Ozzy, you fucking asshole.
Language warning for our
I'll bite your
audience.
fucking head off.
Language warning.
Fuck you.
Oh my God.
Oh shit. Hey, I'm Ozzy. Fuck that ring. Save me.
No, boy. Ozzy Osbourne doing
Oh,
doing
you
the most
can't.
Aussie thing, most
That is
Aussie thing.
the most Aussie thing ever. I'll bite your effing head off. Just like the famous thing he did biting the bat's head off. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Interesting. All right, final thought, Cliff. Tomorrow,
That's
October
hilarious.
1st. Tomorrow, October 1st is a big day. It is Charles Edwards' birthday. That's right. Celebrimbor
Oh,
himself.
I
His
love Charles
birthday
Edwards.
is tomorrow, October 1st. So make sure you post about him, make some fan cams, beg for thirst traps. Like, let's give him all the love on social media. He is on Instagram. You can I think you can tag him on Instagram. Look for Charles Edwards Official. Happy birthday, Charles Edwards. Cliff, tell me, what does Charles Edwards' Celebrimbor mean to you? Is he everything you thought Celebrimbor would be all these years you've been imagining that story on screen?
No, it was actually no. His Celebrimbor was actually a bit different, but I loved it. I loved his performance. It was quite different in some fundamental ways from what I thought the Celebrimbor would be. Look at him sipping a cup of tea while he's walking out onto the balcony. That was totally like a scene from The Crown, which he did star in, by the way, years ago. But he played like the private secretary for Queen Elizabeth. So, I mean, it's so cool that we got this version of Celebrimbor. He was a bit more, what you'd say, upper crust. Like, if there was that kind of caste system in Elven society, in Elven culture, then I would say, yeah, Celebrimbor, played by Charles Edwards, was incredibly upper crust. A bit different from what I thought. But he was brilliant, especially against Charlie Vickers. Both of those characters are amazing. Anatar and Celebrimbor were the biggest improvement in season 2, and they got a lot of mileage out of that. And we're still talking about it today, right? So I do wish you the very best, Charles Edwards, for your birthday, and congratulations for one more revolution around the sun, and that should be celebrated. Absolutely. This picture, though, is hilarious. You're not showing it right now, but I mean, this picture from the fan event is hilarious. Show that picture one more time, Justin. It's so good.
We have to.
It's so
yeah.
good.
We just had to. So happy
Yes,
birthday
yes.
to Charles Edwards. Make sure you tag him on all this. And Cliff, I just wanted to do a quick follow up. Speaking of Charles Edwards, last week we
Yes.
gave you the hugest leak gossip, the hugest Green Dragon gossip. We can't even call it a leak. It is just rumors and innuendo.
Yeah.
But
Wild rumor. Yes.
wild.
Yes.
We went a little further after the show last week, and we got some more whispers on the wind. And Cliff, I want to get your opinion now that you've had a week to sit on this idea of Barrow White Brimby, Celebrimbor coming back as a
Yes.
Barrow White in season 3, and as the
Yes.
Barrow White shell of a man. It helps
Right.
Sauron finally forge the one ring to rule them all. Cliff, your thoughts on this wild rumor that seems to be have some strength behind it?
If they're going to get away with it, and we did talk about this, there's only one way that the showrunners can really get away with it. And that would be, I mean, remember how I was getting really irritated and all that stuff about the
Barrow White Brimby?
about what was going on, about the rumors. I was getting real irritated last week about the rumors that he would not stay dead. And I wanted to sing the song from The Wizard of Oz and say, no, he's really most sincerely dead. But here's a way that they could get away with it if they wish. When the spirit of an elf when an elf is killed, murdered, chopped up by orcs, the elf will have his soul go to the halls of Mandos. So if Sauron is going to use necromancy, which we did talk about last week, because as we know, he is a necromancer, but if Sauron is going to use evil magic to reanimate the corpse, then the only way they could get away with it is if the soul, the actual Fea of the elf, Celebrimbor, if he stays in the halls of Mandos. So what Sauron would end up with is an empty shell, a shell of the dead body of Celebrimbor without the soul at all. And that means they would use that as a squeaky way to navigate through the metaphysics of the elven afterlife. And in my mind, that might be one way they could get away with it. Celebrimbor's body is an empty shell, but it's moving, it's animate, kind of like at the end of the Black Cauldron, where all the dead skeletons come to life and all the children run screaming from the theater. And that's when Disney knew
it's been
they had a
described
problem.
as Barrow Whites, and we've been told that
Yes, it has been described as that.
the
Yes.
reason the Barrow Whites were in season 2 was to introduce the concept of Barrow Whites so it could be paid
Yes.
off with Barrow
Right.
White Brimby in season 3.
What
That
a
was the
crazy
only
concept.
purpose
Well,
of the Barrow
and
Whites.
I tell you what, I got really aggravated at the concept that this was a good idea, and it's not a good idea if they're going to bring his soul back from the halls of Mandos, like kind of what happened in the video game. And I want the Rings of Power to avoid that trap and avoid what was happening, in the video game. But if his soul, if his Fea stays in the halls of Mandos, and if Sauron is only talking to an animated physical shell, then that might be the way they navigate the narrow possibilities of
You know,
making
the
that
way
work.
you're describing it now, if he's in the House of Mandos, and what if Sauron reanimating Celebrimbor's corpse so he can't do the banner? People in chat room are saying, I just want to see the banner. I don't think the banner is in play, because if Sauron intends to reanimate the corpse to make the Ring of Power, the One Ring, what if through that powerful dark magic that Celebrimbor's soul senses the dark magic in the Hall of Mandos and says, I cannot return, I cannot be sent back, because my soul in Sauron's control, it would be too much power, and that is how Celeborn is sent back. Brimby meets Celeborn in the Hall of Mandos and says, you have to go back. You have to go back. He's like, I am too much power. Remember when Gandalf says, I dare not wear the ring? With it, Sauron would wield too much power within me.
Through me. Yeah. Yes, I do
Brimby,
remember that.
if we see Brimby in the afterlife and he bumps into Celeborn, maybe that's how Celeborn gets sent back, like Glorfindel was sent back, as I'm told. But anyway, that's the latest update. Cliff, I like that you've calmed down a little bit and found a path that you would be okay with Barrow White Brimby.
I don't say that I'm okay with it. I just said that might. I didn't say I was okay with any of this. Okay, and I want to say hello, Matt, Nerd of the Rings. Welcome to our live show. It is so good to have you here. Nerd of the Rings is one of our favorite people in the world.
You just missed Cliff talking about Barrow White Brimby.
Let me just say, no. Well, in a nutshell, if Sauron. Now, let me talk to you about this. In any horror movie, think about, Dario Argento movies. Think about classic Hammer horror films. Think about every horror film you've ever seen, even up to today's
get on with
very popular zombie movies.
Like the new horror movie starring Nicolas Cage where he plays zombie Jesus.
What is it about an animated body that makes you think they're going to have their wisdom, learned stuff they learned from life? If you think you're going to reanimate a corpse, are you going to get anything intelligent out of it? Are you going to get anything intelligent out of it? Or is it just a wandering corpse, which is just a physical, like a Barrow White?
Well, let me ask you
Barrow
this.
White, you never had any...
What happened in Doctor Strange?
Let me finish. You don't have any intellectual conversations with the Barrow Whites at all. At all. So why would he think...
But you have conversations with the Nazgul.
Yeah, but the Nazgul are neither living nor dead. They're in between the unseen and the seen world. Mostly, their physical bodies are in the unseen world. But the trick with bringing, if this weird rumor about Celebrimbor coming back in season 3, being reanimated by the dark arts, even in the chat during the 7th, says that, the relationship between the name Necromancer is a relationship to Sauron's evil workings with the Ringwraiths. Not that Sauron regularly brought back dead people. Do you know that doesn't happen?
In the show,
except for Glorfindel, it doesn't happen. In J.R.R. Tolkien, the dead do not come back. I mean,
well,
the dead being animated
in the chat room says the necromancy Sauron does is ancient versions of it, which involves soul manipulation and less animating dead corpses. But he can do that by putting evil spirits into them.
That's right. That's right.
So the necromancy that Sauron plays with is soul manipulation, which goes to exactly the opposite of what you were just saying, which is if you're to go along with this in the show, Celebrimbor's soul must not be involved. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I'm saying that Celebrimbor's soul would not leave the halls of Mandos in the video game or in season 3, because the soul of the dead elf stays in the halls of Mandos until a much greater cataclysmic moment at the end of time where those elves come back. But this is why the whole concept seems real rickety to me. It seems real shaky.
The ghost soldiers in Return of the King are souls that have not been allowed to pass. That's why they're frustrated. The king of the dead. Yeah,
that's right.
Those souls
have not been allowed to pass.
They have not been allowed to pass, and that's why they're still very much animated. Nazgul, we're told, are halfway in between. They're not fully dead. I'm only dead.
So Otaku Senpai is quite correct in saying that the Barrow Whites were literally dead corpses animated by summoned evil spirits. So what if Sauron summons an evil spirit to animate the corpse of Celebrimbor? Are you going to get any knowledge about ring making from him if his soul is not there? Are you going to get anything from him?
Benefit of the doubt.
That's the question.
Here's the thing.
That's the question, really.
If we go along with that idea and giving the show the full benefit of the doubt, Sauron must assume that Celebrimbor's got some muscle memory. So he may not have his soul or his brain, but he's got some muscle memory. And there's something about the forging of the rings and the melting of the mithril and everything. There must be some muscle memory that Sauron's hoping that the reanimated corpse will just naturally do, because that is a common trope with corpses, right? They just do this muscle memory of what they did in life, right? Without knowledge. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem I have with that is that we didn't actually get to see Brimby make a lot of rings in season 2. We saw his assistants do a lot of the work. We saw him yell at his assistants for doing lousy work, but we didn't actually get to see a dedicated full hour of television of how to make a ring from scratch. We didn't. We at all. And for a show called Rings of Power to not show how to craft a ring from scratch, I know more about the reforging of Narsil than I do about ring making.
Indeed. I get that point.
Okay.
Also, pointing to Dandelion in the chat, it would have to be a thing where Brimby refuses to leave Arda, or Sauron captures the soul of Brimby prior to him choosing. Or Sauron curses Brimby's soul like Isildur did to the dead men of Dunharrow. Okay, I see the possibilities, but all of it leads to one thing. They're copying a lame idea from a video game that pissed off a lot of people because it played fast and loose with the metaphysics.
And the last thing the show can afford is doing more fast and loose. The last thing the show should be doing is more fast and loose.
I'm just saying.
All right, Cliff, that's a great show. We told you all about the rumors of the new Lord of the Rings MMO video game and how that sounds really interesting, especially at a $100 million budget. And we told you the latest gossip on, and we even caught ourselves giving fake news about season 3 filming. So, but the big topic of season 3 is, who is Jamie Campbell Bower playing? And I'm telling you, Amazon, if you're watching, this game isn't fun. Just tell us so we can have a good time and not fight. Secondly, Celebrimbor, Barrow White Brimby, controversial take. And we're going to wait to see what the new head of Amazon Studios will say about that. That's our show.
What an excellent show. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming along. Yes, it is conceivable that the Fea of Celebrimbor refuses the call of Mandos long enough to send a vision to someone in Rings of Power. Yeah, all kinds of things are possible, as long as we don't end up with Force Ghost Celebrimbor. Okay, that's what we don't want. I personally do not want what happened in the Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, with, I believe Celebrimbor in that video game made a one ring within the unseen world. Can you imagine that? So there was a one ring in the physical world, and then Celebrimbor made another one ring of power in the spirit world. And I mean, the video game played so fast and loose with everything that it became ridiculous. It became really ridiculous in terms of how we understand the lore and how elves die. But I will give you that. The speculation is really quite interesting. So, yes, it was a shorter show. Thank you for joining us for a wonderful episode of Torn Tuesday. We're going to say goodnight and good luck for everyone. But we're also going to ask you to follow us on all our social media, the One Ring Net. Follow me on Instagram and on Blue Sky at QuickBeam2000. And we have much more speculation, bizarre rumors come and go. Some of these rumors are really nutty. So we'll do our best to try to parse through the noise and make sense of all of this stuff. And we love bringing the show to you every week. We always do. And I'm so glad you guys are here. You're the best audience ever. Thank you for being with us and supporting us. Jordan Rennells, congratulations on the launch of your new soundscape, long expected soundscape. I'm so excited. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, right here, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Next Tuesday, it'll be a wonderful show. Until then, please do take care of yourselves and look out for one another. All right. I'm Clifford Broadway. That right there, that was Justin Sewell, my co host and producer, man about town. What a lovely evening. Thank you all, and good night and good luck. Or as I love to say at the closing of every show, buenos noches y buena suerte. Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.
It's really dangerous. We can't have viewers making their own rings of power at home.